The scandal surrounding Representative Matt Gaetz is getting worse. In fact, according to the Daily Beast, and a lot of different publications have come out and verified all this, um, there has been a confession letter by Joel Greenberg. Joel Greenberg is former Republican tax collector for the state of Florida and was besties with Matt Gaetz. And so now Greenberg wrote this confession letter in the final months of the Trump presidency in order to try to get a pardon from the president, or to purchase a pardon from the president through associate Roger Stone. So he's going to come into this as well. Now, apparently, according to Greenberg, he said that he and close associate Representative Matt Gaetz had paid for sex with multiple women, one of which happened to be a minor at the time. He said that on more than one occasion, this individual was involved in sexual activities with several other of the other girls, the congressman from Florida's 1st Congressional District, and myself, Greenberg wrote, in reference to the 17-year-old girl. From time to time, gas money or gifts, rent or partial tuition payments were made to several of these girls, including the individual who was not yet 18. I did see the acts occur firsthand in Venmo transactions, Cash App, or other payments which were made to these girls on behalf of the congressman. Fun. Now, as I've said before, I actually think it's okay to pay women for sex, but not with minors. No, that's wrong. And the other thing about this is that in the case of Matt Gaetz, in this congressman, it seems rather it's grooming. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is grooming young women, girls for sex, and then doing that. So it's doubly gross. Okay, it's just absolutely gross. But there's more. The letter was written as Greenberg was seeking help from Roger Stone in obtaining a pardon from Donald Trump. Meaning that, of course, Roger Stone, as I mentioned before, he knew everything and he kept everything secret. In late 2020, Greenberg was out of jail and in communication with Roger Stone, in a series of private messages between the two, also obtained by the Daily Beast, shows these exchanges between Greenberg and Stone conducted over Signal, with communication set to disappear. However, Greenberg had taken pictures of this, a number of their conversations. Why would you take pictures? What? How dumb are you? I mean, did you want to get caught? Why would you do that? I mean, I'm glad that he's stupid, and I'm glad that he did this because, well, then, here you've got the evidence of them not only soliciting, sex from apparently minors, but also and paying for it, and also trying to buy a pardon. Anyway, so now, let's see. In late of, did I read that already? No. Okay. So now Greenberg, I mentioned the pay, right? Well, apparently Greenberg was willing to pay Roger Stone $250,000 in Bitcoin. Actively trying to buy a pardon for having sex with minors for cash. Because of course, Florida. Now, here's what Greenberg wrote about that. They know he paid me to pay the girls, and that he and I both had sex with the girl who was underage. And so again, Roger Stone knows about it. Roger Stone didn't do anything about it and actually demanded $250,000 to try to get him a pardon. So this keeps getting worse for everyone around him. Roger Stone and Matt Gaetz. In fact, and as part of the effort to obtain the pardon, Greenberg wrote multiple drafts of his confession. The Daily Beast obtained 2 typed versions and an earlier handwritten one. And of course, they went and verified it through a forensic document examiner who examined the handwriting and said, this is a legitimate letter. So this is real. And that means Matt Gaetz is fucked. In those letters, Greenberg detailed his relationship with Gaetz, confessing to paying young women for sex, or young women, sorry, as well as the minor. And he claimed that he and Gaetz and others did have sex with a minor they believed to be 19 at the time. Greenberg said he learned she was underage September 4th from an anonymous tip and quickly contacted Gaetz. And so there's that. So understand that that's going to be their defense. I didn't know she was 17. Watch for it. Watch for it. My question is, why is Gaetz still in Congress? Why is he still holding positions on important committees? Why? At the very least, he should have his congressional duties suspended, pending the outcome of an investigation. This is some really serious stuff. He is accused of trafficking a minor. And now you have this person sharing Venmo receipts and a confession letter. He's flipped on him. And, you know, the guy needs to go. He needs to go, and maybe he should be arrested. I mean, now the online news about this was received just about as how you'd expect it would be. You had some tweets here that I want to share. Stone's price for the pardon was $250,000. He told Greenberg that Gaetz helped thwart the effort, but said he couldn't figure out why Greenberg's friend turned on him. Greenberg is now said to be cooperating. Well, of course, it's to try to save himself. You think that there is any honor among these thieves? Seriously? There is no honor among these people. They will turn on each other in a second, in a heartbeat. Of course they would. Greenberg claims that he and Gaetz did not know, again, that she was underage, cut off ties with her until she turned 18. Then they resumed having sex with her and Venmoing her cash. Ick. Yeah. Another person says, Joel, dumbest criminal alive. Greenberg wrote a confession later explaining every law he and Gaetz broke. People this stupid cannot be rehabilitated. And would you want to? Honestly? Another person says, really can't imagine being wanted to be in a situation where you're in a position to watch Matt Gaetz having sex with really anyone. I couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine. Another person said, this is disgusting, and Matt Gaetz is rightfully in an incomprehensible amount of trouble. Here's hoping this ropes Roger Stone back in legal trouble as well. Roger Stone, of course, was pardoned by last president Donald Trump. So there's that. And let's see. This also shows how sick and corrupt Trump and company were when it came to pardons. Well, of course we knew that. I mean, the person that they pardoned, what was it? Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon literally stole from Trump supporters and then bragged about it in order to rebuild the wall. Is it any surprise? Are we at all surprised that he would pardon some of the worst people? And yet, didn't pardon Matt Gaetz, interestingly enough. The new Gaetz news is as revolting as it is unsurprising. Another person on social media. And then, as I mentioned before, Matt Gaetz' defense will have to be, she told me she was 19, and that's not a ridiculous defense in theory. And then quotes Yogi Berra by saying, in theory, there's no difference between theory and practice, but in practice there is. And then there's one legal expert that weighed in on Twitter as well. This is legal affairs columnist Harry Littman. Says this, tweets that this also means that Gaetz, who has decided he simply must deny sex with a minor, is reconcilably opposed to his old good buddy Greenberg. Given their extended pattern of hijinks, it's almost mutually assured destruction. And then, of course, what will the victim testify? So there will be mutually assured destruction here. And he goes on in a pretty large Twitter thread. So I checked that out. But the thing that I take from this overall, for one, I'm not surprised. Sure. I don't think anybody is that Matt Gaetz is a creep. The other thing is, no matter how bad your week is going, at least you're not Matt Gaetz. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Gaetz. Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.